Good evening. After 73 matches, we finally have the two finalists of IPL 2022. These are the top two teams of the tournament, Gujarat Titans versus Rajasthan Royals. We've seen some fantastic performances in this season. We've seen some uncapped players do well. We've seen some players who many said were completely, not going to be able to come back. They were overaged, they were not going to be able to perform. We saw them do well. Today, Nikhil and I, since it's an off day in the sense that there is no action on the field, we're waiting for the final for tomorrow. But today we've decided to make our best 11 of this IPL. So let's begin with it straight away, Nikhil. It's an interesting one. A lot of thought went into it because we did try to figure out and it was difficult. It wasn't easy. There were some players we just couldn't figure out if we should be able to take them or somebody else in place of them. But in the end, we've got what we believe is the best 11. We still may have some differences here, Nikhil and I, but most of it is pretty much the same. So let's get straight into it. Nikhil, do you want to start with the captain?
The captain, I mean, there's no debate over the captain, Meha. I mean, all of us unanimously agree the captain of this team has to be the captain of the Gujarat Titans, Hardik Pandya. Hardik Pandya, absolutely sensational in this tournament, inspirational, down and out, not only of the Mumbai Indians team, they did not retain him, out of the Indian 11, not India's #1 all-rounder, then to be named captain, again ridiculed. People doubted that whether he can lead a team, a new franchise. Delivered with the bat, delivered with the ball, delivered on the field. Great tactically, brilliant strategically, promoting himself up the order at number 4, scoring runs, aggressor, anchor, new ball, restrictive bowler, trendsetter, everything Hardik Pandya in this tournament.
I think the one thing that stood out for me about Hardik Pandya is the fact that he seems to have been enjoying this phase. There were others who were given captaincy and were finding that as a burden. For Hardik Pandya on the field, the sense you get is that he's actually enjoying everything. He's not taking it too seriously, and he does come across as someone who doesn't take himself too seriously and plays cricket in an entertaining way, in the way that it should be played. And I feel like some of that is rubbing off on the team as well, because all of them feel so settled. They all feel like they're part of this team. David Miller spoke about how he feels like he's a member of this Gujarat team's family, and I feel like that's why this team's come together the way it has. So Hardik Pandya, the captain there. Then we move on to the two openers. Who else but the highest run scorer of the tournament, Jos Buttler? I mean, no debate there.
Absolutely. 824 runs, Meha, 16 matches, averaging almost touching 60. The third highest aggregate in a season after Kohli and Warner. And he's just, 24 runs short of Warner. So he may well end up as the second highest scorer in a season only after Virat Kohli, striking at above 150, 400s. He's equal Virat Kohli's record of 2016.
Yes.
Just been brilliant. That last century in a pressure match in the eliminator against RCB, that was, what a knock that was. I mean, RCB would have thought they have an iota of chance, or let's say 30% at least, with that 157 under par total. But the way Jos Buttler batted, and in that innings he's changed his template. Usually he starts slowly, builds in the middle overs, and then accelerates at the death. In that innings, power play, bam, 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 match was over. Match was over in the power play.
I also feel like with Jos Buttler, and we saw Virat Kohli do this in 2016, David Warner as well. But since then, I feel like bowlers have evolved. They know how to bowl during the death overs. Artificial intelligence, we have so much more data. Then for Jos Buttler to be able to do it like this, he was unstoppable in this tournament. No team's been able to really be able to stop him, and that's what stands out about Jos Buttler. Currently the best T20 batsman in the world. Then we move on to number 2. Now this was a bit of a debate for both of us, but we had no choice because you can only take 4 foreign players. Hence, the opener with Jos Buttler is KL Rahul. Now, a lot of you might disagree with us, but the bottom line is that you cannot. I would have loved to go for QDK instead of KL Rahul, but again, I need Rashid Khan in the side. I need some of the other foreign players. I need a bowler international bowlers. So we've gone in with KL Rahul. Now, strike rate or no strike rate, you've got to give it to him. He is the second highest run scorer in the tournament.
Absolutely. He continues to be an IPL run machine, you know, scoring 600 plus runs in 4 of the last 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, the man has pedigree, class, everything. He's a victim of his, I don't know what the deal with KL Rahul is. Why does he play the role of the anchor when he is so talented and he can easily score 20 runs per 100 balls more? And yes, he was rightly criticized for that knock. It was because of his very late acceleration that LSG had to pay the price. Yeah. But you know, KL Rahul, you cannot ignore 616 runs,
Absolutely.
200s and 450s. Yes, maybe counterproductive in a, 1 or 2 innings the way he batted, and that is something he'll have to address because it's happening season after season now. Yeah. But you know, you have to pick on the sheer volume of his runs.
I agree, and I was looking at some of the other openers, and Shikhar Dhawan at 460 runs, but he's striking at 122. KL Rahul's strike rate's actually better. It's 135.
David Warner and QDK are the only replacements.
Correct, correct. So I was looking at Shikhar Dhawan, the Indian opener, in case you want to go in. Well. But again, 460 runs in comparison with KL Rahul, 660 runs, 16 runs. You had to go in with KL Rahul. Okay, then we move on for our number 3 position. Who is it? It is Rahul Tripathi. He may not have found a place in the Indian team just yet, but he has impressed us here on the sports desk. 413 runs at an average of 37, but the strike rate of 158. That stands out for Rahul Tripathi, and given that he was coming in situations where they just lost the openers weren't in great form, especially Kane Williamson. Yes, Abhishek Sharma did score runs. The pressure is on him. Then for him to be able to score runs, and that too at a good strike rate, shows you the maturity in his game, in his mind as well.
Absolutely. You know, he was an unsung hero for KKR last season, and he played very well. He got almost 400 runs last season at a strike rate of 140. So if he had done that, it would have been enough. But he took his batting a level higher. To score at almost 160 for a top order batsman is absolutely phenomenal. And it's the highest strike rate for a top 3 batsman, minimum 200 runs in the tournament. Also, he scored 550 plus strike rate knocks, which is a lot. To produce 5 such substantial knocks in which you're scoring above 150 shows that, you know, Rahul Tripathi was in a different zone, unlikely to miss out on the Indian 11, spot. Yeah.
At number 4 then, it is Hardik Pandya. In fact, we'd spoken about him, but he, again, as Nikhil was saying as well, just leading from the front. He promoted himself up the order, was actually bowling very well till he got injured, and even after that has bowled in the last couple of matches also that they played. So Hardik Pandya definitely, like we said, he's been phenomenal, and the reason of him being this good is obviously him not sort of getting under that burden of captaincy. He's really enjoying his cricket at the moment, and he's been rewarded with a call back into the Indian team. So that's exceptional from Hardik Pandya. Okay, then we move on to number 5. Now, number 5 again, debatable, but we went in with David Miller. Why? Because when it mattered the most, he delivered, and that's what big players do. That's what players in tournament 11s do, and that's why we went for David Miller. I know that a lot of people would have said maybe you can go in with I don't know, Rahul Tewatia, you can go in with Shimron Hetmeyer, you can go in with Liam Livingston, but no, for me, David Miller.
Yeah, I mean, just the timing of his performances. Just the timing of his performances, 449 runs, average 64. You know, also, apart from his 4 high-impact knocks, in which, in all of them, he partnered with Rahul Tewatia, and one of them he partnered with Hardik Pandya. He also failed. He also outrightly failed on only 3 matches. So he was very consistent. Even if he was not producing that match-winning knock, he was scoring that 25-13 almost every game, which for a player of Miller's, caliber is very... He's not the kind of player who's very consistent. He's never been consistent in his career. He's been that sort of a player who produces a great knock, then fails for a few matches. So Miller's consistency in this tournament for me has been a big surprise, and it's one of the reasons why GT has done so well. David Miller had The reason why we chose him over, Tewatia is because for Tewatia and Shimron Hetmyer, the direct clash was with Dinesh Karthik. I think Miller bats the position higher. So he starts building the innings in the middle overs and then takes it to the death. Therefore, Miller fitted in well there.
Okay, then we move on to our number 6 again. A lot of contenders for that number 6 position with Dinesh Karthik once again. The strike rate may be lesser than, say, Shimron Hetmyer or, for that matter, Liam Livingston. But bottom line is, Dinesh Karthik won you matches, and Dinesh Karthik also scored the maximum number of runs in the death overs.
Which is very important. 330 runs overall in 16 matches, but 242 runs, highest in the death overs, strike rate of 220. So that's absolutely brilliant. Also, 6 high-impact knocks in the tournament, 6, which is a lot. And most of them came, the consistency was in the first half when Kohli and Maxwell were failing outrightly. Duplessis was scoring, but at a very slow rate.
No, they couldn't have reached where they reached had
they
it
wouldn't
not
have made
been
the playoffs not for
Dinesh Karthik's knocks. Absolutely.
So Dinesh Karthik and duly rewarded by a place in the Indian team.
Okay, so that's Dinesh Karthik at number 6. What about number 7? Again, Rashid Khan for us, because Rashid Khan, the bowler, there is no debate about, but you just would want Rashid Khan also for his batting, and we saw what he did for Gujarat Titans in a couple of matches. But he's been phenomenal with the ball. We've seen him, one of the best in league cricket. So yeah, Rashid Khan there.
Yeah, I mean, Rashid Khan selects himself. I mean, it's unfortunate that it was a toss-up between him and Vannindu Hasaranga.
Yeah.
And we had to sort of let go of Hasaranga because Khan is a better batsman, chipped in with a couple of cameos, plus the experience of playing in T20 leagues all over the world and excelling. So it had to be Rashid Khan over Hasaranga, the best bowling average for a spinner in IPL history. You cannot ignore Rashid Khan.
A strike rate of 19.9, economy of 6.73. Again, you're right, Vannindu Hasaranga. And Vannindu Hasaranga can actually also bat, just hasn't been able to do what Rashid Khan did with the bat. And I think that's where we went in with Rashid Khan over Vannindu Hasaranga. Then let's get into our fast bowlers. Mohammad Shami there, the best with the new ball. Maximum wickets in the power play. In the first half of that Gujarat Titans campaign, it was Mohammad Shami who came and got your wickets in the power plays. That changed the game completely.
Absolutely. For me, the best new ball bowler in the tournament, and he's been, throughout the season, he's maintained that, the tag of the best new ball bowler, which is commendable for Shami. Also, apart from the 11 wickets, which are the joint highest, Meha, as you mentioned, in the power play, an economy of just 6.57 for a bowler who's an attacking bowler, that is a phenomenal economy rate.
Correct.
So he's been very restrictive. Also, I was seeing his quality of wickets. 17 of his 19 wickets have been of the top 6 batting positions. That shows, and this is something we had discussed in our earlier shows also, that 90% of Mohammad Shami's wickets in the last 3 years have been of the opposite top 6 positions of the opposition, which means he takes high quality wickets. Also, again, his bowling strike rate as of now since 2019 is better than Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah, and also absolutely, Jasprit Bumrah's strike rate for 2022 is 21.3. A lot of others, their bowling strike rates with wickets are better. Umesh Yadav, I was seeing Umesh Yadav, his economy is better, his strike rate is better, has got 1 extra wicket. Umran Malik's is incredible. His bowling strike rate is 13.4. So there are others, and I know there are a lot of people who would want to keep Bumrah in their list. There were some on our desk as well who were saying they would want to keep Bumrah in the list. Bumrah, I don't know, man.
Late Bumrah, that's not a problem.
Yeah, Bumrah just in the last 3 matches, whatever, I don't know. He wasn't really the Bumrah who, one expected before the IPL began. Okay, then we move on to the second fast bowler. It has to be Kagiso Rabada, leading pacer of the season, and didn't start the campaign well. So a lot of people might say, come on, but in the first half of the tournament, he wasn't really, bowling well, but then came good, and that shows in his numbers, 9 wickets and 66 deliveries at death. So you've got your power play bowler in Mohammad Shami, and you've got your best bowler in the death overs in terms of his striking ability.
Yeah, I mean, just like KL Rahul selects himself on the sheer volume of his runs, Rabada we cannot ignore on the sheer tally of his wickets. 23 wickets, highest wicket taker for a pace bowler, strike rate only 12.5. Yes, he did not sort of do well in the first half, but when he did well in the latter half, I mean, it did impact his team's fortunes positively. So therefore, we have to, you have to just pick Kagiso Rabada. He was excellent in the death overs. He was also did not concede many runs in the death overs.
Correct.
The economy rate was only around 8.5. So Kagiso Rabada, on the sheer volume of his wickets, has to be in the
And
11.
I think has probably the best strike rate amongst the pacers in death overs.
Must have. I mean, 9 wickets in 66, his strike rate was 7.
Yeah. Okay, then we move on to Yuzvendra Chahal at number 10 again. Why do we even need to discuss it? He's been phenomenal in the tournament right now, the joint highest wicket taker. And, you know, you would want him in your team and if you want to play this edition of the IPL.
I mean,
Yuzvendra Chahal's won you some matches.
Absolutely. 26 wickets, joint highest wicket taker, striking 14.7 for a leg spinner, 19 wickets in the middle overs, striking at under 16 in the middle overs. The way he's controlled the middle overs, absolutely fascinating. You know, 20 wickets of the top 6 batsmen out of his 26 wickets.
Yeah.
Again, shows the quality of wickets, just completely transformed after the UAE edition last season. Has been brilliant. For me, the best leg spinner in the world currently.
Okay, now we move on to our number 11. Now again, this was something that we debated a lot on. We were, I mean, there were different opinions on this, who your number 11 would be. We went in with Arshdeep Singh. I would have gone, personally would have gone in with Harshal Patel, but that's me. Nikhil's gone in with Arshdeep Singh, 10 wickets, but it's the economy, I guess. That's what
Absolutely.
made him go in.
It is the economy rate.
Okay.
I mean, you know, 10 wickets, yes, I mean, not many, but economy rate overall of 7.7, but even better, an economy rate of just 7.58 in the death overs. It was even lower than, it was somewhere around, it was somewhere around 6.5 for most of the tournament. It crossed 7 only in the latter half. It's the second lowest economy rate in the death, only after Bumrah. But Arshdeep made a bigger impact than Bumrah for his team. Arshdeep had a bigger impact in the death overs than Bumrah had for Mumbai Indians at the death. So, you know, for me...
I mean, I would still want to go in with... The only problem with Mohsin Khan, and he's got an incredible economy, so I'm sure that is... It cannot increase to more than, you know, 8
Correct.
in the death overs. But Mohsin Khan has been good as well. But Harshal Patel, simply because Harshal Patel is one of the highest wicket takers in the death overs
Correct.
amongst the pacers, I would just go with him. His economy is 7.66. A strike rate of 16.8. I just feel like Harshal Patel's
Over Arshdeep Singh, you mean?
over Arshdeep Singh
Okay.
is a safer option for me.
Yeah, I mean, I took Arshdeep also not only because of his, you know, economy rate, but also I wanted a left arm seamer. So there was no variety in the attacks. I thought, let's get a left arm seamer. We have Rabada, we have Shami. Let's get a left armer in. So also Arshdeep Singh, you know, fit in well there.
Yeah. Also, I mean, you've got to mention Umran Malik, 22 wickets, economy of 9.03. Yes, a little expensive, but strike rate one of the best in the tournament, 13.4, and that's what you expect out of an out-and-out fast bowler like Umran Malik. He was again. He came into our discussions as well. I mean, we really wanted to put him there, but in the playing 11, Nikhil, there's just those many you can get, and yeah, so this is the team we went with.
Yeah, I mean, Umran Malik, we wanted to pick, but Umran Malik, I don't know, we can't pick 12 players. I mean, he would have been my 12th or 13th player. He was like hot and cold. 4 wickets, no wickets. 4 wickets, no wickets. So, a great season, but if we had a team of 15, I would have included him, but we have a team of 11 only.
Yeah, and we've got a well-balanced bowling attack. You've got Rashid, you've got Yuzvendra Chahal, economical, as well as like the Arshdeep is also economical in there. Yuzvendra is taking wickets in the power play, in the death overs. So, you know.
I mean, all bases covered, I think.
Yeah, Shami and Rabada, wicket takers. So that's our 11. What do you make of it? Do you agree with us? Should we have made some changes? Do you think one in the Hasaranga should have been there again? There was a discussion around that as well, but then decided in the end to go with Yuzvendra Chahal. Also, you know, you just have 4 options for foreigners, and so you want to go in with an Indian bowler there. So yes, in the end, that is our tournament 11. What did you think of it? Do you like it? Do you want any changes? Do let us know in the comment section below. That's it from Nikhil and me. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to. That's, like we're saying, our News9 11 for IPL 2022. Then that's it from the both of us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.